What's up, everyone? I'm Ryan Flacco Rising. I'm the executive director of West Coast Credible Messengers. West Coast Credible Messengers, our mission is to train folks with lived experience to become credible messengers. We train them along the lines of trauma-informed care principles. We train them on transformative mentoring, case management, multiple different things that we train them in behavioral health therapy. And so once they become trained, we then deploy them out to their communities to become, credible messengers of hope, of empowerment, and to go out and uplift their communities and build their communities up. And so our vision is a West Coast community where folks with lived experience are valued for that lived experience, and that those who have this lived experience are seen as valuable contributions to their communities instead of the stigma that's been attached to folks that have been labeled gang involved or convicts or felons, and all these different labels that have been placed on them. And instead, the community start to see the value that these individuals bring to the West Coast communities. So yeah, so we've been working out in Long Beach, we've been working in Orange County, we've been working in San Diego, Riverside, and we've been working with the most vulnerable population, and that's folks from gang involved backgrounds. And we've been uplifting them and sharing our stories and our lived experience with them and showing them pathways to higher education, pathways to become mentors and counselors to their community members. And we've been doing events. And one event that we've been running has been our uh, barbecues in the park for peace. And so we show up to multiple different parks and we run a barbecue with music, and we have a bunch of different credible messengers there. We share our stories, we share our resilience, we share our perseverance through everything that we ever experienced to inspire others to join us in this mission. And so we've been doing a lot of different work in Long Beach. We just finished up the Artful Resistance, breaking the school to prison cycle. I myself, I went through the school to prison pipeline. At the age of 12 years old, I was locked up. I was incarcerated as a juvenile. I didn't get out until like 16 and a half, 17 years old. And I was labeled a gang member. And when you think of a gang member and that label that was placed on me at the age of 12 years old, you see how they put these bullet points underneath where a gang member carries a gun, where a gang member sells drugs, where a gang member is violent, where a gang member is a street terrorist. All these messed up things are underneath that label. And I was told I was a gang member at the age of 12. And so what ends up happening is I ended up adopting all of those bullet points. I thought I needed to carry a gun. I thought I needed to sell drugs. I thought so that label became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what happened to a lot of these youngsters. A lot of these youngsters are labeled bad. They're labeled as gang members. They're labeled all these different labels, and then they're outliers. And so they're pushed out and they feel outcasted from their communities. And then they start to live out this self-fulfilling prophecy that label has, that's been attached to them. And they start to carry out everything that label has been socially constructed to represent. And so we're trying to dismantle that. If you've been labeled a gang member, you're actually a doctor, you're a genius, you're a scholar, you're an individual that's an activist for your community. You're a social worker, you know what I'm saying? You're a lawyer, you're a real estate agent. So like these labels do not define us. And so these are actually false labels. And so what the West Coast Credible Messengers is specializing in is breaking the stigma attached to these labels and saying, nah, you're more than just that label. That label isn't really you. That label was placed on you to turn you into a commodity to the system. So the system could then extract funding away from our communities and drive us deeper into poverty. And so we're trying to go out, uplift folks, and empower folks. And so that's what West Coast Credible Messengers is all about, empowering communities. And so we've been doing this out there in Long Beach, and it was really successful. We had a huge event on June 29th. We had Second Chance. The Temptations came and performed. We had multiple performances. We've also been teamed up with Crossing Enemy Lines for Christ, which is all individuals who were involved in different neighborhoods and different barrios, who are now going to different churches, who come together and uplift their neighborhoods. And at one time, their neighborhoods were actually at war. We're trying to break the divide and conquer that exists in our communities. And so, like, one thing that I always say, and I say this everywhere I go, and one of my mentors, his name's Chino, he told me this, and I live by it now, and I see it. The equality of suffering equals solidarity, equals organization, equals action, equals revolution. Once we all realize we're all equally suffering the same thing, we will become one in solidarity. Once we're one in solidarity, we will organize together as one entity. Once we organize together as one entity, we will create actions. And once we create these actions together as one, we will revolutionize our whole entire reality that we are all under right now. And so the equality of suffering equals solidarity, equals organization, equals action, equals revolution. And that's what we're calling on our communities to do. We're West Coast Credible Messengers. We're not about upholding the status quo. And a lot of folks have came into this work and have been about upholding the status quo. And so no, we're transforming communities. We're breaking down barriers that exist in our communities, and we're mobilizing the people and activating these communities to come together as one and quit perpetrating violence against each other, and see that we're all equally suffering the same. And so Long Beach has been amazing. We did amazing workshops there. We just had our final event on August 10th, and man, it was beautiful. I mean, there were so many people out there. And we gave away over $10,000 in scholarships. So we gave multiple people scholarships, and it was the Omar Prado Memorial Scholarship. So Omar Prado, he was one of our credible messengers in training. We met him in the Orange County Juvenile Hall. We go up in the Orange County Juvenile Hall every other Friday, and we work with folks inside Tango Unit, and we build them up through art activities and creative writing. And we met Omar in there, and Omar got released, and he was still dealing with addiction issues and stuff, and he got locked back up, and we went back in there and saw him again. And after that, he looked me dead in my eyes, and he said, "Flaco, I'm done. I'm not going to get high anymore. I give you my palabra." And I was like, "Wow, all right, cool, homie. I'm gonna hold you to that." When he got out, he stopped getting high. He ended up getting a job. He bought himself a car. He signed up for college. He was going to Cypress College. He went to speak at UCLA with us. He went to speak at continuation high schools with Berto and Alejandro, which are other credible West Coast credible messengers. And he was, living proof that, man, we can change. But July 3rd, he was killed. He was killed, violently killed, because he still had, the neighborhood stuff going on around him, and that violence got him. And so we lost him. So we're honoring his legacy, man. He changed. He put the work in, and we're honoring his legacy by giving out Omar Prado Memorial Scholarships every single year. to multiple people. So if you want to look us up at westcoastcrediblemessengers.com. You can also find us on Facebook at West Coast Credible Messengers. You can also find us on Instagram at dub_c_credible_messengers. And check us out. We're all over the place. We're doing amazing work, and we look forward to you joining us. We also have a training program where we train credible messengers. Check out our website for more information on our training program. We're actually finishing up our first cohort of West Coast Credible Messengers virtual training, and we're gonna have over 40 credible messengers certified underneath our training. And that's going to be taking place in September when we have our graduation ceremony for our new credible messengers who are going to be on the ground doing this work with us. So yeah, power to the people, power to the communities. We love all communities. We love all neighborhoods. We're in this fight together to revolutionize and transform our communities for the better. Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much. That was powerful, man. That was very, very uplifting, and it's real, it's real because I feel like there's just a lack of resource, like, just resources that to people that do need, support and some sort of like push, or like some type of hand that has to be reached out because it's like how, I don't speak from personal experience, being from a neighborhood or anything, but I do speak from being surrounded by that type of lifestyle, and also from other people who have told me, and it's hard, coming out of that life and changing, because that's all growing up, right? But the work that you're doing it's it's just very, very powerful, and it's needed. It's needed because a lot
Definitely.
of kids are a lot of kids are still, the lost, basically, lost, and they have no sort of support system for them,
We're
right?
changing the narrative of gangbanging.
Yeah.
Instead of gangbanging on each other and killing each other and tearing each other down, we're now gangbanging on the system. And we're saying you guys used us as pawns in your Ponzi schemes. And you guys sucked billions of our tax revenue away from our communities under the pretense of serving and protecting us, which drove us deep into poverty. And there's no return for families. Families have been pushed deep into poverty. And so we're changing the narrative of it all. And those bullet points were uh that they socially constructed against that label of, oh, you need to carry a gun because you're a gang member, you need to sell drugs, and you need no, 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 no. West Coast Credible Messengers is changing those bullet points. You can go to school and become a doctor. You can carry a pencil in a backpack and be a gangster nerd. You can build up your own business and own your own company. You can do amazing social justice warrior work in your community and uplift your community. That's gangster. It's been really, really pushed on us, and it's been really entrenched into our mind that we need to destroy, that we need to tear down, that we need to be against one another. And that's been by design. They want us to be against each other because that legitimizes their presence in our communities. That legitimizes their extraction of billions of dollars away from our communities. And so now's the time to come together, to stand together as one. And once we're together as one, we'll be an unstoppable force and we'll redistribute the wealth back down to our communities. And all those people that are living in tents, all those people that are suffering on the side of the street with mental health issues, all those people will be getting upward mobility. We'll find a way out of the current state that they're finding themselves in due to this Ponzi scheme that exists in our communities. And so enough's enough. It's going to be us, the organic leaders, the credible messengers who are going to revolutionize and transform our communities. So come join the West Coast Credible Messengers mission and vision, and let's get to work today. Because the next generation of our kids, we don't want them to suffer what we have up to this moment. We don't want them to go to prison. We don't want them to be a part of the school to prison pipeline. We don't want them to be a pawn in the Ponzi scheme any longer. And it's going to take a lot of work to make it so that they're not.
Thank you so much, Flacco. I just have just one more question that came to mind. Um, have there been like any obstacles that you faced so far? Creating the West Coast Credible Messengers and gathering funds and trying to withhold the retention uh with members so far. Has there been like any challenges so far that you can think of?
I mean, there's multiple challenges with funding. You know, the systems in place, they want folks to uphold the status quo. They want folks to create these assimilation factories, and these and assimilate folks, and so you have these assimilators out there and these assimilator organizations that are trying to create and mold this certain type of person out of people from our background and make our background shed off their culture and deny their cultural background and deny their cultural identity. And we're not with that. You don't need to deny your cultural identity in order to be successful. You don't need to shed off your identity in order to be recognized. We're all geniuses. We all have knowledge within us. So we're producing knowledge with each other. We're building each other up. We're training each other on all aspects of mentoring, of all aspects of what the system has failed to do, and that's trauma informed care practices. We're training each other in all this, case management, everything, and we're getting equipped with the tools that it's going to take to get us all connected and together as one. And so, yeah, I mean, funding has been one of our biggest obstacles, but I mean, money comes, money goes, legacies live forever. And so our legacy is we can do this. We just did a huge event and workshop series in Long Beach. Huge. It was powerful. And folks are charging $3 million, $4 million to pull stuff off like that. And we did it off a shoestring budget. We did it out off of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So where is the money really going? And that's the question. Where is it going? Who's it helping? Who's it feeding? Because in all reality, it ain't feeding the people at the bottom, because the people that these organizations are saying they're serving are still out there suffering, are still living in tents, are still dealing with addictions, are still dealing with all these things. So for us, there's going to be these obstacles always because of where we come from. But we're going to break it down. We're going to break down every obstacle. One thing about us, you know, uh, you could put many obstacles in our way and we find a way around it. We'll dig underneath it. We'll go over the top of it. We'll figure a way around every obstacle that comes our way. We will never give up. We are the culture that keeps persevering, that keeps pushing through. No matter what you stick in our way, we overcome it. And that's the credible messenger way. So yeah, so of course there's been obstacles, but man, we learn and we love obstacles because it just makes us stronger, and it just builds us up, and it builds character, and it just helps us see who's who in our community and who's who in this work. And that's beautiful to us. People expose each other and expose themselves when they start to become barriers and they start to put obstacles up that try to, and they become gatekeepers. And it's all good. We kick the gates in, we dig underneath the gates, and we get on the other side, and we're just waving at them, And they're like, how do you get over here? How do you flank me like that? Well, we figured it out. It's all good. Thank you for being an obstacle because you just built us up and now we're stronger than we were before. So yeah, obstacles are going to be there and we're going to keep pushing past them and keep getting through them. Ain't nothing.
Beautiful. That was very beautiful, Flaco. Thank you so much. Is there anything, anything else that you want to share, with the community? Anything that you want to announce, to the people watching?
So yeah, so we got our next workshop series coming to life out there at the Billie Jean King Main Library in Long Beach. So stay tuned for that. You'll see a lot of that information on our website, westcoastcrediblemessengers.com, and also on our social media. So we'll be announcing the next pieces of the work we're doing in Long Beach, and anyone's more than welcome to join us. It don't matter where you're from. If you're from LA, if you're from Bakersfield, if you're from San Diego, if you're from Riverside, you want to come over there and be a part of our stuff, come through. You're more than welcome. And then we have work coming to life in Riverside right now. So we're definitely developing the West Coast Credible Messengers out there in Riverside. We got folks on the ground in Riverside right now. We're gonna be running our barbecues in the park for peace with crossing enemy lines for Christ. And so we're building up in Riverside. So Riverside, stay tuned. We're coming. We're coming to help you guys. We're coming to build you guys up, and we're coming to give you the hand up and the warm handoff to the resources. And then in Orange County, we're building up Orange County nonstop. We got a lot of work going on in the juvenile hall, and we got a lot of things going on. So we got some great things happening. San Diego's about to boom. We got a bunch of West Coast credible messengers being trained out in San Diego. So I mean, we're establishing big things. We're on the ground running, and so yeah, stay tuned. West Coast Credible Messengers Training School. It's we got something big up our sleeve. We have our learning management system being developed. So stay tuned. You're gonna see some big things coming from West Coast Credible Messengers, and we're gonna transform and we're gonna change the whole entire game with what we're establishing and building. So we're excited, and you all should be excited too.
Thank you so much, Flaco, for for everything, for meeting with me, and for sharing, the journey so far that you created with the West Coast Global Messengers. And no, I just want to say thank you again. And thank you so much for what you're doing. You're creating a pathway, for the younger generation, and it's working. And I've seen it myself. I've been to to those few events, and I've known you for a few years now, and some of the members, right? And so I know for sure this is gonna it's gonna work. I'm here to support you, along the way, right? And but thank you so much, Flaco, for your time, for your words, and yeah, thank you so much.
Amazing. Yeah, now thank you, Pedro. We appreciate everything. And man, I'm amazed by everything you do, bro. And so I'm super excited to continue to work with you. And I'm super excited to have you a part of the West Coast Credible Messengers as a credible messenger, doing this work with us, capturing all this and documenting it, because that's the most important piece is making these videos and taking these photos and really having these things documented because one thing I'm learning in this work is if it ain't documented, it never happened. And so
Right.
we need to document every piece of it. So you're an important piece to this
Yeah.
work, Pedro, and we appreciate you, showing up for us always and consistently and being there as a credible messenger yourself who understands the life and who's been formerly incarcerated and has gone through a lot in your journey, bro. It's a great honor to be side by side with you, uplifting and empowering our communities.
Thank you. Well, hopefully, this conversation reaches other people, right? Because it's gonna be uploaded to the West Coast Credible Messengers Instagram, and not just Instagram, but also like the Facebook and hopefully the website. But hopefully, we can keep making the type of content where we have, more like conversations like like this, where we can sort of bring to light the work that that you're doing, and that the work that the West Coast Credible Messengers is doing. But yeah, thank
Definitely.
you so much.
Yeah, no, we're in the works right now, and that's something I think that would be amazing that you could participate and really help us. And it's an idea and a vision. We're trying to create the West Coast Credible Messengers podcast.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that that's something that we could talk about, and that could be somewhere where, you could facilitate some of that work right there, and take lead on that work for us, because you're right, we need to have these conversations. We need to sit down. We need to discuss all this stuff. There's just so
Yeah,
much going on, and there's so much that needs to be discussed, and I feel that, that's an outlet that we should consider, in the future to really broadcast all this and really get the message
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, and just one more thought. I think it's also important to bring a platform for, for members to be able to sort of express themselves. Because in a time where, where we grew up thinking we can't share our thoughts, we can't share our feelings, we can't be vulnerable because it's weak, and now we're in a time where people are being more vulnerable, and it's important to sort of have those conversations one on one, or even having those conversations with the group, right? And so I think bringing a platform like you mentioned, like a podcast, can be very, very beneficial to the members, and it can even even potentially reach out to more like members of the community to join, and be curious about, just simply being curious about what West Coast Credible Messengers is about, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for what's to come, Flaco, and thank you so much for everything again.
Amazing, bro. Yo, that's what's up. Right on, homie. You have a good one.